Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Books and Bush Tea. I hope you like my bookshelf that I've borrowed from the internet for tonight. Bear with me, I do have a little bit of a scratchy voice. It's been flu season, it's been brutal in this house. I also have a lot of company tonight. I have a couple of dogs sitting around my feet, and I know that our guest tonight is not going to have a problem with that. So let's have a conversation this evening with Miss Kayla Manderson, a proud island lady. She is also a mother, a teacher, a born storyteller. And if you actually get into her book, you'll see exactly what I mean. She was inspired to write by her bouncy pup, whose name is Zoomer. And we're going to talk all about Zoomer today. And her love for teaching kids in fun and imaginative ways. Now, last week, we had a long conversation about getting books for kids and actually how to get kids to enjoy reading. Now, Kayla is an expert in this, and she's actually taken it into her own hands and created her own book. So, this is going to be a lot of fun to talk to her today. Now, Kayla's, for over the 10 years, she's been teaching and bringing learning to life in classrooms. I understand she's now at the John Cumber School. Oh, and there we go. We got a little company already for tonight. Kayla was inspired to write by Zoomer, and she spent a lot of time chasing him down the beach, dancing to island tunes. I'm gonna have to grab my own Zoomer in a minute. Hey, Lucy, calm down, sis. Don't be jealous. Just because another dog's on display. I'm gonna have to let her join this in a minute if she doesn't settle down. But she spends a lot of time chasing Zoomer down the beach and dancing to island tunes, just like the rest of us girls, us Caymanian girls. Exploring new places and dreaming up her next adventure story for Zoomer. Her biggest hope is that her books leave little readers everywhere a little curious, a little more curious, a little more brave, and always ready to explore. And I'm going to bring my little one in as well. Come on in, Kayla. Welcome to Books and Bush Tea.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm going to have to sort this fella out in a second, but yeah, are you used to this too?
Yes, that's why Zoomer's not in the room.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough.
Strange voices
Zoomer's
just
spot.
gets him going. I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, this is a new one, so I'm getting used to her. Bear with me.
Oh, that's
She's
all
barking
right.
at the cat, but she keeps running away from me. So let me see if I can grab her. But
Yes.
tell us, Kayla, how is it going with Zoomer? How is the book sales going? How are the book experiences going? Because you're a brand new author. You're brand new to this.
I am
Tell us.
very brand new, so it's been a learning curve for me. I'm very proud that I have reached this point where I have a physical product. It's not something that remained theory, and it is, I have fruit for my labor, so to speak. And to be self-published is also quite quite a thing in my research, because you could either go with a publisher or you can self-publish. So I went that route. It is more economical. I would say the biggest drawback with that is you have to push sales yourself, which I I prefer to just produce things, not promote them.
I know. I know. I did the same thing. So I completely understand you. Yeah, I hear you. But yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about your reading though, because I feel like every writer starts out, because let's kind of like take it back to the beginning. I feel like
Yes.
every writer starts out as a child who reads.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was. I feel like I don't even remember learning to read. It's just one of those things. It just feels like, well, you're not born with it, but like it wasn't a taxing activity for me. There are some people that they really struggle with reading for whatever reason, like be dyslexic, or it's just not their way to learn. They prefer something more hands-on. My son is like that, actually. He doesn't like to read, so he prefers to go and explore things in a more practical, hands-on way. So he's very different to me in that way. But I don't remember struggling with learning how to read, and I remember, um, I would say, embracing the challenge of tricky words and getting curious about their meanings and being motivated to use them in my everyday language. So that I was that kind of learner. Yeah.
And so you're one of those curious ones that just wanted to learn. But you know, I feel
Yeah,
like it's more than just learning to read, right? It's like learning to love it as well. Were you
I
one of those
think
people
for
that
me,
enjoy
it's natural. It's just, yeah, I don't, it's not it's just part of my nature. It's not anything that I have to work at. Like, I think because I like a challenge.
Yeah, I am so sorry because she's going home. She is going kaput. And
That's
then every
okay.
time I go for her, she goes underneath the sofa. Yeah, this is the warning of the
That's okay.
chihuahua. You know. Come here, come here. And then she dips away. Oh my goodness. If I could lock her up and not get it yelled at from the other room, I think I would do it. But at this point, I usually
That's
have a little
okay.
help on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
But so you love the challenge and you enjoyed the reading as a child. And I love that you actually have a child who is not who doesn't love it quite as much, right? So you're learning how what we were talking about last week was like how do you get a child to enjoy learning to read? How do you actually get them into it? So how's that going for you? Because I hear that you're working it out with him.
Yeah, we try, I don't give him pressure. So he's not a child that responds well to like a regimented kind of setup. You have to just kind of leave him to um find that self motivation. So we'll try other incentives, like as a typical teenager, he likes cash. So we tend to
Oh
use
yeah, yeah, that's a great one. I've
yeah.
seen that work actually. Tell them like how many books have you read this month, and you get $5 each or something like that. Is that how you do it?
Well, there's different ways. I mean, you can do 50 cents a page. You could do $1 per page, depending on how motivated are you to motivate this person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How involved you want to be, right? That's pretty granular. Yeah, that's pretty impressive actually. But what did you like to read as a child? Because I noticed
I
you've written a book, and I feel like we always get inspired by what we like to read.
Yes. So actually, this particular book with Zoomer was inspired through my line of work, not so much the types of books that I grew up reading. But like I would say, my one of my go-to books as a child was Charlotte's Web. For several reasons. I love pigs. Those are, that's like my spirit animal. I
Oh, I love them too.
I love pigs. I don't know why. I've always been fascinated with pigs. And then of course, the pig in Charlotte's Web is just super cute.
What was his name
But
again? Was he Wilbur?
I think Wilbur.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was Wilbur, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool.
Wilbur. But
Yeah,
yeah, because Charlotte is the spider.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that I've always been drawn to those emotionally touching things, and that is Charlotte's Web. When you get to the end, you're like, "Oh my goodness, what a
Oh man.
profound story of friendship and, the level of care between two species that, they could easily just ignore each other, and yet, this tiny spider just had all the care in the world for this pig that had nothing to do with her." So
You
I
know,
find that kind of
it's
thing very
one of those
touching.
things. Yeah, it really was. It was a touching book, but it was also one of those things that I feel like it made you aware of the sentience of all animals as
Yes.
children, because then you didn't look at a spider the same again.
No.
No, you're always looking for
No.
the words in the webs.
And I think one of my bigger takeaways from that story too is, you might think that you are this tiny insignificant person, and you might think to yourself, well, what can I do in any kind of given situation? And it's a telltale that you actually have more power and more creativity than you realize
Yeah,
to make a
yeah,
difference.
yeah. I also like the cartoon.
Yeah.
I really like the
It's a
cartoon.
nice
The goose in the cartoon was one of the things I loved. He was such a delight. The one that was like double spelling with the double letters. You
yes.
know, and I was killing myself laughing every time I saw it because that's what my parents did with my name.
Oh.
Because I got a double N, double K, double I, double K. The movie was really cute as well. I feel like it's one of those core moments, right?
Yes.
But you say that you were inspired by the work that you do. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So I've been in education for the past 12 years or more. Starting to lose track. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. uh, but it has been over 10 for sure,
Yeah.
in both public and private schools. And it's just it's been a big journey of professional development. And when you have to plan lessons and present lessons, you tend to pour your heart and your soul into what you do, especially if,
Mhm.
like, you're passionate and you care about how your learners learn. And so, one of the core things for this book is like, how do you hook the reader? How do you get them
Mhm.
interested to, like, from the get-go, and then you just take off from there, making them want to know what happens next. How do you get that curiosity going? So in planning, I didn't plan English, but I did present. And so actually, we would plan it as a team. And so sometimes we would use text, whether international or local. We worked with one local one, Georgie, and the
Oh
stingray.
yes. Uh-huh.
So
That
it's
is that
kind
the
of,
stingray? Georgie was a
yes,
stingray,
the
right?
pink
Ah,
stingray.
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
trying to find Stingray City, which is a very nice story, and clever take on the geography of Cayman, traveling. Right, she travels. And so I was like, well, what if we had another story option? Because I feel like there is so much room, there's so much space for these kinds of books, that there are a lot of author voices just waiting to be heard. And the whole idea, one of the main ideas, I should say, for Zoomer and the Round Brown thing, is to have it used in schools, and to inspire literacy, and with a story that these children can relate to. Because oftentimes we're picking stories about the forest or the
No.
winters with snow. And you know that it calls for imagination, which is not a bad thing, but I don't think that it is um a bad thing either, to have more of what they can personally relate to. And actually, I'm hoping too that it can be taken international, so that these other students that are in the winter wonderland or in the forest can hear about Cayman and be like, well, what's this place? And get curious about us.
I really love that you have taken an agouti, which is such a um I feel like it's one of those overlooked beauties in
Yeah.
Cayman, because they're everywhere, right? So there's, well, at least in my neighborhood they're everywhere, but I can imagine down in yours as well, right? So they're kind of taken for granted because they're not endangered. They're absolutely everywhere, and they are just a part of Cayman life that we don't even think about. But if you
Yeah.
go away and you realize and you come back and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited to see an agouti.
Yeah.
It's like, you get to that point where the things that when you're far away, you get homesick for the things that are normal,
Yeah.
right? And so I think you're right. Like it is an exotic thing for a child that is in winter.
Hmm.
I also, can I tell you, I love your use of language in this book, because one of the things that I notice is that there is a gap in literature across the world for children, right?
Yeah.
Where you have the board books that are like one or two words and lots of pictures just to get kids into reading. Then you have the books that have like um there it's just far less. There's this really gentle entry, then there's this gap, and then you have chapter books. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas this book has so much depth to it. Like there's I am pulling it up, but I'm sorry, like my background eats it. But it has so much conversation. And I also love that you're not talking down, like you're using big words, independence, right? I love that you're challenging the child to read that word. There's another one that I saw in here that I was like, okay, this is great. At the same time as being a lot of fun. I love that. I love that the goody got like hit by a branch and got slid into sight. Like there's so much
Catapulted.
movement. There's so much movement in this book. So I'm actually I really am grateful for you putting this together, because there is something beautiful about the mundane things that we do, something
Oh,
really beautiful about the mundane things that we have in our lives. Like your dog is outside chasing a goodies. Like, there's like that's like half the families in Cayman, but there's
Yeah.
magic in it. There's magic in it, and you've captured it, and you captured it
No,
so beautifully.
thank you
So
so much.
I'm excited because I'm actually going to give this as gifts to a couple of the kids in my life, and I feel like it's got such a nice age range because you can read this to a kid who's 4 and they'll understand it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to have a kid who's like 7 or 8 who is going to be challenged by it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's that nice chunky range of readership as well that you're capturing. Tell me about the illustrations because I love these illustrations. There's one in particular that I'm going to pull up while you tell us about it.
Okay. So I wish wholeheartedly that I could take credit for these illustrations. But alas, they belong to a lovely Argentinian lady named Anto Fant.
Mm-hmm.
Anto is short for Antonella. And
Okay.
in actual fact, Anto is very open to working with other Caymanian authors.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually meant to have a video chat at some point. I hope that goes well because I'm not exactly fluent in Spanish, but we'll see. We'll make it work.
But you have help. I'm sure you'll be fine.
But yes, so I found Anto on a platform called Fiverr, which I'm sure is not
Okay.
it's not new for a lot of people, but for some people they might be like Fiverr. So yes, Fiverr is a lovely platform that has all anything that you are in search for in terms of services. So I typed in illustrator or children book illustrator, and of course several hundreds of options pop up. And if for anyone on this journey, you have to just sift through, take your time, sift through, and you have to just look at each illustrator's sample work, and you find the one that resonates with you most, and
Yeah.
you just send a message, and then they'll be in touch with you in terms of pricing and all that stuff. So Anto's an established professional, so she was one of them that cost more. And of course there are local illustrators too as well that
Yeah.
could be explored.
But I really love what she does with this one because I'm just gonna pull this page because this is when they hold on, they bump face to face, and you just look at the you look at Zoomer's face and the Goody's face side by side, and they're just looking at each other. I think she captured the movement so well, and it really brought your language and your story and your vision to light. This is such a good combination.
Thank you so much. Yes,
Would
I
you
when
like
I
would
saw
you like
her,
to read a little? Would you like to
I
read a little bit?
yes, for sure. Yeah, when I saw her work, I was like, this is the feel I want for my books.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
She does really good with movement. I love when like he disappears into the bush and you just see his little feet hanging out.
I
Just
will
read us a
start.
couple of pages.
All right, I'll start from the beginning. Okay.
There you go.
So, Zoomer is a dog who, even though he is fully grown, still looks like a puppy. He has gray fur with an area of white on his chest, a fluffy tail, and big, thoughtful brown eyes. He was one of the lucky rescue dogs from the One Dog at a Time charity organization that has saved many animals in the Cayman Islands, a country made up of three small islands in the Caribbean Sea. There's us on
He's
the
so
map.
handsome.
There's banana orchids. That should be a very familiar symbol. One evening, when the breeze blew lightly and the colors in the sky resembled melted, swirling red and orange popsicle juice, he wandered ahead of his human during their walk. When his human became distracted chatting with a neighbor, Zoomer took advantage to sniff around a bit independently. Within moments, the movement of something brown, a short distance ahead, caught Zoomer's eye. With his sharp sense of smell, a new scent caught his attention. Zoomer, like any other dog, really enjoyed investigating new scents, so off he went.
Oh, and he's so awesome. I really love like the language is so like just grounded, right?
Thank
And
you
you
very
just feel his little spirit, his thoughtful brown eyes. I really have to compliment you because I think you brought him to life really, really well.
Thank you.
And there's an art to children's books that I don't think people pay attention to, because you have to capture a child's attention,
Yes.
and that is not the easiest thing to do.
Well, I consider myself very childlike, not childish, but childlike.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
No, but I feel like you have to you're surrounded by kids all day. There's something about that keeps it alive, right?
Yes, and
That really powerful thing.
there's just something very soothing in their company, their innocence, and you can expect real things from them. They're going to tell you like it is. So if they don't like your skirt, they're going to tell you.
Is it very authentic?
Yeah.
Very authentic. But I think there's a beauty in the reading as well, in that you teach them language and how to be authentic. And I love that you include emotional language even when you're talking about Zoomer,
Mm.
because Zoomer is a dog, and
Yes.
it's not the easiest thing to immediately imagine that a dog has all of those complex emotions. And so
Mhm.
you're actually teaching them the language of emotions through the descriptions, even the Zoomer.
Well, that was
And
a
he's
big
so
decision.
kind.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was a big decision too, whether like is he going to talk or do I just narrate? Because, so I was like, I don't know. I'm like, no, children will appreciate him talking and having thoughts. So let's go with that. Yeah, that was my, my line of thinking.
So, what is different about writing for children, do you think? What do you have to do specifically when you're writing for kids?
Well, for me, my aim is to educate. So, in with your such generous high praise with the vocabulary, that's my angle. Something, a story that they can relate to. If when like maybe they are studying a book, a text in class, so it's something that like is within reach in their on their bookshelf, and just or they can just tuck into bed with it, and it's just a nice comforting story, something to settle them. So yeah, that for me, it's more like how do I educate them and entertain them simultaneously?
Mhm. That's the balance, right? So, it's education and entertainment is the intention. What about the mechanics? Because I love that you talked about the decision. Do I narrate or do I give him a voice? Or
Hmm.
were there any other decisions that you had to make as you were going through the process of bringing the story to life that would be specific to making it accessible to kids?
Yes, there was the agouti as well. The how what kind of characters are in this story, because we're accustomed for the most part to having a protagonist and an antagonist, and this is a story I think I can say does not have an antagonist. you know um it gives the impression that there's one, and then the mystery is solved. So
Yeah, because there's
there's
a bit of mystery. There's a little suspense in there as well, right?
yeah, because you're like,
But
what
you're
is this
terrified.
dangerous thing that has everyone terrified in the yard? And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's not, and it's actually an opportunity to make a new friend. So
Yes.
yeah.
That's actually a cool lesson as well, in and of itself. Like the things that we don't understand, we are initially sometimes afraid of, and
Yes,
then we learn that actually this is a mammal just like me.
exactly.
you know.
And that's another angle that I was coming from. I'm like, when you have a new student in school, it can be hard sometimes when you have your more familiar peers that maybe you've already gone through 2-year groups with, and here's this new face in year 2 or year 3. And so this is it's also a nice story to read for welcoming a new face and
Yes.
being open to getting to know someone.
Yeah. Yeah. They're so thoughtful around this, and I feel like there's so many opportunities for Zoomer in the future. So is there a book? Are there more adventures that Zoomer is going to go on?
I actually have the other story written. I'm very, very excited. It does need reviewing and everything, and with my new posting, it's been quite tricky. And on top of that, I'm trying to get these sold first, because if I don't get them sold, there will be no second book published. As much as I wish I could just give them away, but I actually had a colleague today who was like, "That's all you're selling it for? Like, are you making a profit?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to keep the cost as low as possible."
You're
So,
trying to keep it accessible. I always feel like your first book is about that. It's really about getting your name out there, getting yourself going, and then working towards the next one being the place where you actually start to really benefit. But it has to pay for itself. I totally get that. I want to
yeah.
actually share a picture because I've been describing
Oh,
this gorgeous. Look at that.
gorgeous.
Look at him. He's so handsome. Zoomer and the round brown thing. And I love the title because the title is so mysterious as well.
That was another mechanic, to a mechanical thing to work out, because at first I was like, Zoomer meets an agouti, and then it's like, well, where's the curiosity spark in that, you
Wow.
know? And so it just, I was like, let's get some more curiosity and mystery in the title. And then, of course, a little rhyme helps too, as a catchy title. It's not hard to remember, Zoomer and the round brown thing. And so, oftentimes, because of the bunnies now in the picture, it's automatic to think, oh, that's just another bunny. And in fact, it is a rabbit, but not a bunny rabbit. It is a local.
Exactly. And I love that you put the two together because there's so much confusion about it. I love
Well,
that.
actually, we had bunnies. So those bunnies I mean, they've passed away now, poor things. But we actually had two bunnies that looked just like that. Anto is so gifted. I was like, this is what our bunnies look like. So
Oh. Oh, so Zoomer was real. The
Zoomer is
bunnies
real.
were real.
Yeah, real. Yeah.
Was the round brown thing real as well?
Oh yeah, he goes chasing after them down in our road, and they catch on to his movement a lot quicker most times. It's
Yeah.
very rare that he startles an agouti. So they have to be pretty preoccupied, just like in the story. Like if they're busy doing munching on something, they are like oblivious. But then yeah, then they take off very skittish. And like, no, no
And
thanks.
were
And
the rabbits really afraid of him?
the rabbits. So that's more an imaginative take. I was like,
Oh, okay, got it.
what if an agouti got in the yard? What would that look like?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I love that. I love the whole how it all came together for you, and I really, really hope that people will go out and get your book for Christmas because I feel like this is such a lovely cuddle, like Christmas cuddle book.
Okay.
I plan to cuddle with my niece and nephew and read this to them on either Christmas Eve or the night after Christmas because we generally spend some quiet time reading it in the nights. And I
Oh,
would love to. I'd love to hear. You know what I would love you to do, and maybe you can think about this in your social medias and stuff. I'm actually gonna put up. I'm gonna put up how to find you, so that folks can start to follow you. You
oh.
can find Kayla and Zoomer's Adventures on Facebook. Look for Zoomer Adventures on Facebook and Right Where You Are by Cayman on Instagram. So I'm going to put it up a little bit longer so that you all can see it. And write, as in writing underscore where underscore you underscore are underscore by underscore Cayman with a K on Instagram. So that's a lot of fun. I feel like if you start to collect photos of kids reading this book, it would be so cool on your Instagram to actually see Zoomer.
Actually, there is a picture or two on there, so I do encourage that very much because it really touches my heart. So as long as there is parental permission to use
Mm-hmm.
in the public platform, then yeah, I by all means I will post them, and I am very much accessible through those platforms, so through those pages, in case anyone does not have me added personally on Facebook.
I also saw Zoomer at the book nook. I went to look for him. I think I have a video of him somewhere. I was like, oh my goodness, he's on the shelves. He's right there. So you can actually get him at the book nook. I didn't see him. I went to next chapter first, and they didn't have a copy of him, did they? I don't think they
Um,
have copies
no,
yet.
they haven't gotten around to responding to me yet in terms of, because they were changing systems or something, they told me.
Yeah, they
So
have a lot going on this time of year too.
yes. So but Book Nook, I have to give them their props because they took one. They were like, normally we need to screen these books, like read them, and she was like, I can tell that this is a fantastic book. I don't need to read it. And I was like, for real? And she was like, yes, and I want a signed copy. And I was like,
Oh,
wow.
that's nice.
So I was
Oh,
like,
that is
be still my
lovely.
heart. I mean, that was the boost I needed because
Oh,
I
that's
was like, oh my
brilliant.
goodness. Yeah,
Do you have
because
any signings set up with like Book Note before Christmas? Do you have any time to go out there and sign your book?
I did on December 6th, I was there for like an hour and a half. And there were so many messages with people apologizing for not making it. The traffic was horrible. There was just so much going on. Christmas fair here, or Christmas fair there, or they're shopping for gifts and stuff. So a learning curve for me. December
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely crazy month to try and do anything. And actually, Book Nook was like, we're gonna do this again in January, and we're gonna do it again properly. So I was
Yeah,
like,
good.
okay,
That's okay. We all have to learn with that first book. I think I'm still learning lessons with mine out there. I don't think I've done any signings in any of the bookstores yet, funny enough.
okay,
I've
okay.
done a couple of readings, and my readings are where I've done my signings. But yours is such a specific book that there's a lot of opportunity. I imagine, like with children's groups, preschools, etc. I can imagine that that might be an easy way to do it. But
Yeah,
I'm opening. Go ahead.
no, that's okay. Yeah, I'm just hoping that like they get I guess in the interest in order to, purchase. Actually, Grace Christian Academy, there was a lady, a representative that she was like, this is going in the school library. Like, this is amazing. This is a Caymanian author with a children's book. And I was like, wow. And she hadn't read it. So I was like, oh
Oh,
wow.
that's brilliant. I was invited there as well. I think that was the first school that invited me as well. I think they're very, very good at bringing the local authors in. And
Yeah,
mine, of course, is not an easy book to put in front of children. So that was an interesting debate on identity that we had. That was they were so cool about it. So I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad
yeah.
to hear it. I think the public libraries might be also very, very happy to get a hold of that book as well.
Yeah, but I just gave I was short yesterday 3 books when I went to divvy them out at work actually. So
Oh,
each year one class has a copy, each
oh,
year two
nice.
class, the reception classes and the autistic support classes also have a copy because they fit in that age range.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm very
That
happy
is
to
brilliant.
and a
That is
couple colleagues
brilliant.
have bought books for themselves, like as gifts. And there's this one that purchased one today. She's so lovely. She was like, I don't think she has children. And she was like, no,
Hmm.
I just want it for me. And I was like, oh, thanks.
Oh, I have one for me too. So mine is for me. I also have them as gifts, but then I have like a little corner where I keep the kids' books. I don't have kids, but I have a little corner in my house where the kids get to go and they like to like curl up on the sofa and yeah, because we're a community, right? We're building the village. But I'm
Yeah.
also gonna invite anyone who's listening to give us a call. We have a phone number now. Last week, I think, was the first time we've had our phone number. It is 936-7377. You can also message us on WhatsApp or call us on WhatsApp. I'm going to check our WhatsApp as well. You can actually message us on the same number on WhatsApp. But of course, this phone is a Samsung, and I am not a Samsung user, so I'm learning. You know how we get locked into these systems, right?
Yes, we do.
I'm such an iPhone lock in, but then I don't like a Mac computer. So I have a question, and this is an odd one because I'm in the process right now of changing genre a little bit. Right, I'm moving from poetry
Hmm.
to fiction to prose, and it's taking such an adjustment for me because the process is more disciplined and not as intuitive. Like I just I'll wake up in the morning with a poem, whereas I'm having to work at this novel. I know that you started your journey as a writer for children. Is there an adult book in your future?
Well, I hope so. I feel like there are so many pieces that I've started to write. I could almost develop a career as one of those prompters. Like I start it and then someone else finishes. I'm not sure what happens, why it falls flat. I think I doubt myself. I doubt my ability to shed light on anything with adults. I feel like this is gonna be stale news. I'm not. I'm not gonna be able to bring anything new to the table for them like I will children. So I have far more confidence to write for children for that reason. I think.
Yeah, I hear that. I can see that. And I actually have the opposite. Like I am far more nervous around kids because of um, the censorship that I find myself doing for the innocence of the child. Whereas, like, I don't know, have you gotten into my book? Because you will see why. But I have to censor myself when I'm working with kids. So, and I actually have one poem that I've done for children. And I wrote it for an event at the school because I realized I was invited to do an event at the school, and I did not have anything in my book that that was appropriate for that age. So I
Oh.
sat down that morning and wrote something, and it turned out pretty good, but it was a poem, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the writing, so there's a difference of mental that you have to make a mental shift in the language, and I feel like it's a special art form that you have captured, which is to be able to make complex, almost like hide complex ideas in simple language for children,
Oh, thank you
right?
so
Like you've done a really good job with that because the layering that you can tell of the emotional language of him being expressive and just even, and I think your illustrations match the vibe so well that it's been a really powerful little experience to have, like just me reading Zoomer to myself. Like
much.
wishing I was a kid to enjoy him.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it actually took some research too because in trying to describe our local flora, I'm like, what is this bush called? An inkberry bush. I'm like, oh, there's bougainvillea is a little bit more obvious, but like, these
Mhm.
common bushels around, like, what are they called? So
I
it's
have a
like
resource for
nice to
that,
know too.
There's a lady here that I call sometimes. Her name is Hannah Reed,
Mm-hmm.
and she's what's her name is Bush Gill, I think, on Instagram. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, exactly. So like it is what she is what it says on the tin, right? Or right
Yes.
on the label. But her or Bush Girl Medicine, I think it is. She was working on a book as well. I really hope that comes out. But then she'd be a resource for all of us who are trying to write locally.
Yes,
But
she
what
was.
is an berry bush? Can you tell me what that looks like? Because I did look at that.
So,
I'm like, I have an image in my head, but
so when you go along the beach, though, that vibrant greenery that you find along the shore.
mhm.
But I have some down in my neighborhood, so obviously it's not something that grows only by the sea. Um,
Okay.
but
No,
yeah,
I'm
like,
gonna.
oh,
I need to see what this looks like. So we're gonna look for this together.
inkberry
We're gonna
bush.
learn something today. Okay. Let me see if I can get a nice picture so I can share with you all. And it has like a little white flower.
Yes, yeah, and
Oh,
just
and
like
a
the
black.
bees are buzzing around in there sometimes.
Okay, and it gets like a black. I'm gonna pull these down. Well, I just found one for $35. Somewhere, somewhere in the world. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna bring it in so we can see what it looks like. An inkberry bush. So this is what it looks like. And of course, we had the bougainvillea. Is this the right one? It has like a little blackberry sometimes.
Ours has a little bit more rounded leaves, but yeah, in essence, that's pretty much it.
All right, this
So
looks more like what you're talking about then. Hold on.
maybe if you
We're gonna
type in
fix this.
Cayman inkberry bush.
Hmm. Hang on. I think this is it now. Is this it?
Yeah, except having white. I don't know if I've seen them black. I don't know what's wrong. It's
That's like
just
a berry there. That's the berry, not the flower.
right.
See, this is what I had in my head when I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, in
I
essence,
don't
that's
think this is what when I heard it the first time. I was like, is that the little black bear, the black thing? Okay. So you have them there where he lives, and that's where he disappeared. So it was. What else did you have to research? Because sometimes we just don't know things around our own areas.
yeah. Um, believe it or not, I had to refresh my knowledge on what is a mammal. I was like, what key facts do I put in here when they talk about being mammals? So I had to make sure that I got the facts straight and to the point. And not overwhelmingly so for the children.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Because you have to there's like a list of things, right? What was it? They have fur. They're warm blooded. They nurse their young.
Yes, they give
Is
live
that it?
birth.
Live birth.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So no
and
eggs.
they look after their young too. They raise them.
None of them abandon them.
They have
Only
lungs
the humans.
and breathe. Have lungs and breathe air. That's also quite
Have
important.
lungs and breathe air. Don't they? Don't all? No. I imagine birds. All birds do.
Yeah,
It's actually a lovely little book. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to. I'm gonna take another look real quick because I feel like there were other little pieces that I thought were fun.
yeah.
And oh yeah, the I was thinking about this. Um, the agoutis eating the breadfruit and the breadfruit on all over the ground. I'm like, does that still happen? Because I tell you what,
Yes.
they just a sight of a breadfruit and I'm watching it till it drop. I gonna catch it long before it drops.
Ah, well, obviously, I need to make sure that you get some off our
This sounds like a plan.
very generous tree. Yeah, that's how we've spotted them doing that. That's how we know that they love breadfruit. We found them in the yard eating it and like having a wonderful time. Up until you open the door and then they get scared off. But yeah, and that was another thing that inspired me. I'm like, breadfruit is so versatile,
Yeah.
and I don't know of it being featured in another children's story. If there is, I don't know it. So I was like, there we have room for something else very local and
Uh-huh.
very much worthy of exploring in a little bit more detail, because in actual fact a breadfruit is more versatile than a potato.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. That's true because you can eat that right.
yeah.
You get the juice out of it. But I love so there's so many things that are Caymanian, like quintessentially Caymanian in this book. Like you cover the animals, but more than that, I can tell you something else that I noticed. Right,
Mhm.
a lot of the Cayman books that have been written have been books about the past.
Mhm.
They've been books that where we have either romanticized the past or we've educated about the past, or we talk about what the smoke pot is and all of these other things that our grandparents had to go through. There's very little contemporary writing about Cayman, and when it is, it's usually economic. Like it's usually like Mr. Roy does a lot of contemporary writing, and he does some good like does some good fiction as well. But when you think about it, like talking about today, there are very few poets as well that I
Mhm.
noticed that are doing present day work. A lot of poets are spending a lot of time explaining the history, explaining the culture in the past, and
Yeah.
very few of them are actually dealing with what is going on in the present. There's actually one poet I have I have so much love for her work. Camille Angel. Camille did a poem about her brother that was performed at an event somewhere, and it was talking about like driving through the neighborhood with his speakers on too loud and being worried about him on the road and stuff like that. And I was like, now that's Cayman today. That's a story about Cayman today. And then of course you're having this conversation about Zoomer and this lovely life that he has inside, and that he's so worried about this animal that's out in the wild, and walking the dog, and the bunnies are in the hutch, and so there's a presence around it that is not common in the kind of writing that we see a lot of for Cayman, right?
Yeah.
So you captured something in a moment in time as well that is so like kind of timeless, because that could have been in the past, but you can also sense that this is present for you.
Mm-hmm.
So so good on you. Like I feel like that's going to actually be one of the things that brings a lot of success to the kind of writing that you're doing.
Thank you so
Because
much.
yeah, no, this is great. This is excellent stuff. Like it's such an honor to be able to present it to Cayman on the wire
Oh,
Cayman.
thank you.
Because
It
there's a
is. Mhm.
because the kids are gonna actually see themselves in it. It's present. It's now. Like some of them are probably even know Zoomer, right? But go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah. They,
Yeah.
they they want to take him home, and I'm like,
Oh.
yes, I understand completely. That's why he's mine. Actually, I looked into developing a toy. So this was created from a manufacturer in China. But like this was quite expensive to
I
get.
think that's a big toy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so this is tag meant to say Zoomer, but it's just a prototype. And
Yeah.
I wish I had the funding, but books are duty free. So when you
Yeah.
bring them in,
Yeah.
you're not charged. But like a toy, obviously there will be some duty there, and so that just
Mhm.
will mark up the price. And there was another thing to look into getting a bulk order in from China and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, you know what? That's an adventure for another time. As much
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I would love to have it go with the book, and then everyone
Yeah.
could, in fact, have their own Zoomer. Um, but yeah, so that's a definite halt. I think that part of it will probably take an investor if there's
Mhm.
someone that is like very adamant that like yes, this needs to happen. I'm
Like
all for
Zoomer.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you
but
never know, book two might be the thing.
you never know.
Book
Actually,
two might
yeah.
be the
And
thing.
so, when I look at this finished product, I know there's so many aspects as to I think what drove me to get it to the finish line. Getting him through the one dog at a time charity, I was like, what can I do for them that because it's through them how I got Zoomer. He's a foster fail, so he actually wasn't meant to be here. He decided that he was home from day one, and it's so funny how they handed him over to me at the vet. So we met the day he got neutered because they do that.
Oh.
They make sure they get neutered. They try to cure
Mhm.
them of heartworm, and they do a lot of work. They rescue them from the DOA, and they ship them off to Canada and the US and stuff when we're overpopulated here. I hats off to the lovely ladies that just do this day in and day out. My neighbor Caroline, actually, who was the contact, she has 30 something dogs at her house currently.
Oh wow.
Like I say, hats off, because that couldn't be
That
everybody.
couldn't be me.
So, and it's from the heart, so I'm like, something
Yeah.
that's going to shed light on their work and their organization, because it's not for profit, and they have a massive vet bill every month. It's in the tens of thousands every month.
Wow.
So
Wow.
obviously they've gotten a few copies that can be found at the One Dog thrift shop as well to
Oh,
support.
nice.
So there's that angle. I didn't think that Cayman needed to be on the map. I think we're already there. I just
Yeah.
think that this is just something else that kind of hopefully will stand out as like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
And it was immortalizing Zoomer. That was another aspect. I was like, this dog came into my life at a point where I really needed the pure love that he has to offer. And I was like, how can I keep him alive forever, in essence? So, and this was it. And I'm like, there's a lot of fun that can be had with just talking about him with an agouti. So, how do we
Oh yeah.
get that in a story then?
Hmm.
And we
That's
took out
really thoughtful. Yeah.
and then for the educational standpoint, I feel like it's a book that can be used across the curriculum. So it's social studies, so Cayman, a lot of local things in there. It's science, the study of
Yep.
mammals, and there's a subject in the British schools called PSHE, which is personal, social, health, and like economical. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like the study of like self-esteem and like friendships and stuff. So it ties into that too. So it's one that can just it can be used, it's multifaceted.
Yeah, I think, and you were very thorough. You can see how layered it is. It's quite complex when you actually peel it apart. But you've done a very good job of making it cohesive and making it thorough at the same time, and actually making it accessible at the same time. Because all of the goals that you had, it sounds like you have met them. So, what are the goals for the next book?
Oh, well, the next book, without giving too much away, will be covering another animal group. So
Okay.
there are four other possible groups, but I will just leave it at that
Oh,
without
I'm
giving too much.
excited.
I want to keep you curious.
Oh man, I'm excited to hear it. I have a feeling. I have a feeling, and I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna tell you offline, and you don't have to tell me if I'm right. I'm just gonna like I have a feeling I know what it is.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with Anto again and getting her sketches. She was so thorough and just amazing. So any little edits, she was like on it like Scotch bonnet. She didn't play around. She just got it done. Even on vacation, she was on vacation in New York, and I was like, "Oh, Anto, I realize, this, and most people, if they're on their time, they'll be like, that's okay when I
Yeah.
get back." And then she's all the way in Argentina. And so, that would have been quite a hectic, a long wait for her to
Yeah.
finish New York and get back to Argentina. But yeah, she's like 110% recommended to work with.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. I'm
Hmm.
excited for the next one. Do you have a timing for when that's gonna come out?
Um, I've ordered 550 books, and I need to take stock of how many I've actually managed to sell. People have been very, very kind to buy them mostly from me,
Mm-hmm.
because to be in a shop, there is a rather large percentage that's taken, but I consider that marketing, and I really, really valued the support that Book Nook has given me and that exposure, and people have actually gone there to purchase the book. But it is far more profitable for me to have them bought straight. So family has been trying, and some friends have been trying to spread the word and get them sold more direct.
Yep. Yep.
So as soon as I can collect back, I think most of what I've invested, then
Mm-hmm.
I will be, yeah, because Anto understands that it's a series, that this is the first book of a series that I have planned. So she was like, "Yeah, let's get going with the next one." And she's actually waiting on me to ship a couple copies to her in Argentina, and to get some exposure in the US somehow would also be great. But that again is another learning curve. But
I know.
a challenge.
Are you on Amazon?
I am not on Amazon. I publish with another platform called Lulu, which
Okay.
I have to look into. Lulu itself can sell. So that's who printed it. And it actually is recommended in terms of um this experience, because they don't charge you to publish, they only charge you to
Okay.
print. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
That's brilliant. So, where can we find you? Let's set you up so that everyone can find you. I think you've given us some information, but you have direct sales. We can find your book at the Book Nook. We know that we can find you at your school, which is she's like, I'm on
Sir
Johnny, go for it.
Johnny
You can
Cumber,
find me
yes.
there, no problem. Right? But we also have you on Instagram at right underscore where underscore you underscore r underscore by underscore Cayman with a K. And then we
Yes.
also have first, was it find Zoomer? You can find Zoomer Adventures on Facebook. Look for Zoomer Adventures on Facebook. So that's how we can reach you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
Is
very
there
happy to deliver them myself, even if it's only one book. That's fine.
Oh, that's wonderful. So someone can just message you on Instagram and Facebook and you're happy to just deliver.
Yep.
Oh, that makes the holiday shopping so much easier. So thank
I
you
mean,
so much for that. I'm
It'll help
excited for the
me.
next one.
It'll help me to purchase more than one book, but I'm willing to make it stop to
I know, I hear you.
one.
So before we go, and you know, you've been such a great guest to have, and I love your book. And I'm excited actually because I have to wrap them now and deliver them from Christmas Day. It's so close. I just hope the kids aren't watching, but you know, sometimes that does happen. Like my niece will call me up and say, "Auntie, I saw you." Hopefully she doesn't see this. But I have a couple of rapid fire questions. You're gonna be the first person to test out my rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
What do you prefer? Digital reading, like on Kindle or paper?
Paper,
Do you like audible or do you like actual reading? Audiobooks or reading?
actual reading,
Ooh. Reading aloud or reading alone?
reading alone.
Ah, tea, bush tea, or coffee?
Oh, it depends. I think my most go to is coffee, but I will definitely have bush tea too. That's fine.
Which bush tea?
Yours.
Ah! Awesome. Wonderful. That is the right answer. Last question. Does Zoomer know he's famous?
Zoomer understands that he is in large part an expense and that, he needs to pull his weight. And,
Oh, goodness.
here we are.
So he's going to work.
Actually, if we could hang on, I can let him in and actually show him.
Oh,
If
I
that's
would love
okay.
to see Zoomer,
Yeah,
please. Let's see
because we're
Zoomer.
wrapping up, then it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. And while she's going to get Zoomer, might have been yelling for him over the course of this. We have just spent a lovely hour with Kayla Manderson, and her book, which is Zoomer and the Round Brown Thing. This is now in stores in Cayman. You can also actually contact Kayla and ask her to deliver a book if you'd like. And there's Zoomer. You're gonna find Zoomer on Facebook and on Instagram. Hi, Zoomer. Hello, fella.
Hi.
You're very handsome.
I gave up scratching
Oh
on the
my
door. It
goodness.
was so boring. You weren't letting
Oh
me
my
in.
goodness.
Here I am.
At least you're not yappy like mine. God bless you.
And at the back of the book, so that everyone does have a little bit of Zoomer, is his actual picture. If I find it.
Oh yes,
The
yes.
two of us together.
Oh, it's he's so gray in the face. Is that actually his coloring, or is that
Yeah, no, that's him.
that's
That's
his
all him.
coloring? I
That's
love
all
that.
him. And it
He's
is
got,
like
got these little grumpy old man vibes.
yes, he does. He doesn't like taking pictures with me. Like he looks like
Oh,
he hates me, but like it's all love. It's all love.
girl, I have a chihuahua. He will bite. She will put me in my place all day, every day. It's the funniest thing. And the big ones are actually far more gentle, which is kind of ironic. But look
Yeah.
at you, Zoomer, and your adventures. Thank you so much, both of you, for spending time with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
It has
Means
been
a
a
lot.
real pleasure, real pleasure. And I'll touch base with you
Right.
when we're offline. But thank you for joining us for Books and Bush Tea today. We have had such a lovely evening with Kayla talking about all of her visions for this book and all of the intentions that she set for Zoomer and the Round Brown Thing. Now in stores at the Book Nook, and you can also contact her on Facebook. And you can also find her on Instagram and reach out to her if you want to have a book delivered in this rush for Christmas. But if not, you're going to hear from Kayla in the new year. She's going to have herself some lovely signings at the Book Nook, as well as looking forward to the next book for Zoomer. So we're going to take a break for Christmas, and we're going to be back in the new year talking with lots of local guests and taking a look at what the reader life and the writer life of Cayman is like. So thank you for being with us at Books and Bush Tea. We'll see you soon. Have a wonderful Christmas and a prosperous new year. Bless you.